Again, Big U, his son Baby Huey, or Big Huey, right? He was assassinated last night on Halloween out there in LA.
The streets of LA were thrown into shock after Big U's son, Jabari Henley, was brutally murdered on Halloween night. But what happened afterward pushed the situation even further. Affiliates connected to Nipsey started mocking Big U over the loss almost immediately, setting the scene for a serious confrontation. And from what people are saying, this situation goes much deeper than it first appeared. Stay with us as we get into the full story. Let's take a closer look. What started as a horrifying Halloween night in the trenches quickly turned into something much bigger. On a night that should have been filled with kids going door to door for candy and neighborhood parties slowly wrapping up, Los Angeles, especially South Central, was hit with news that sent shockwaves through every block from Crenshaw to Compton and spread across the entire hip-hop world. This wasn't just another story about violence in the streets. It opened the door to old problems, unresolved tension, and years of pain that have been building inside the culture since 2019. The killing of Jabari Baby Wee Henley was far from a random act of violence. Instead, it became the center of one of the ugliest online pylons the culture has seen in years, where old grudges came back to the surface and social media showed absolutely no sympathy. At around 11:11 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time on Halloween night, October 31, 2025, officers from LAPD's 77th Street Division received reports of gunfire near the intersection of South Figueroa Street and West 69th Street. What happened there would soon become one of the most heavily discussed shootings of the entire year. And if you know anything about South LA, then you already know how serious things can get around the Vermont Slauson area. This area has been known as a hot zone for years, where the streets always stay active and the pressure between different sets has been building for a long time. The shooting happened at a small smoke shop called Fig and 69 Smoke Spot. Sits right in the middle of liquor stores, auto body shops, and abandoned lots, deep in territory the rolling 60s neighborhood Crips have controlled for decades. From what people say, the smoke shop itself had no gang ties, just happened to be located in that area. You know what I mean? The entire situation unfolded like a scene from a film, except this was real life with real gunfire. Witnesses said two people leaving the shop along with a food truck vendor working nearby all saw a dark-colored sedan, possibly a Toyota Camry or Honda Accord, pull up along the curb. Jabari Henley, who stood 6 feet 1 inch and weighed around 210 pounds, walked over to the car from the sidewalk and started speaking with someone inside through the passenger side window. What happened after that took only seconds. The speed of it all made it clear this wasn't some random robbery or anything like that. Before anyone even had time to react, the entire block exploded with gunshots. That sharp pop 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 sound that instantly sends everybody diving for cover.
And I want to talk about, Big U. His son was assassinated last night out there in LA. Absolutely nasty work, man. Again, Big U, his son Baby Huey, or Big Huey, right? He was assassinated last night on Halloween out there in LA.
The details surrounding the incident are truly disturbing. The gunman fired no fewer than 7 shots from what investigators identified as a semi-automatic weapon. The shell casings recovered at the scene suggested they were using either 9mm or .40 caliber rounds. Jabari was struck 4 times. 2 bullets hit his torso, 1 entered his upper chest, another hit his stomach, and he was also wounded in his left arm and thigh. He collapsed immediately on the pavement near the store entrance, holding his side as the sedan sped north on Figueroa, turned right onto 68th Street, and vanished into the Los Angeles night almost without a trace. Paramedics and firefighters responded fast, but sometimes even fast isn't fast enough. LAFD Station 46 arrived at 11:14 p.m. and found Jabari barely hanging on, suffering from agonal breathing, the body's final struggle to survive, while he had already lost a dangerous amount of blood. Crew immediately began emergency treatment, performing chest compressions and administering epinephrine through and for, using every possible measure to save him. But by 11:28 p.m., only 14 minutes after they reached the scene, there was no pulse left to find. Jabari Baby Henley was gone, just like that. Coroner's office completed the autopsy on November 1st, and the official ruling was recorded under case number 202-500-4512. The cause of death was confirmed as multiple gunshot wounds, with the main fatal injuries being hemorrhagic shock and severe damage to his left pulmonary artery. Toxicology results came back completely clean. No alcohol, no drugs, nothing in his body that would suggest he was impaired or moving reckless. The official ruling was homicide, plain and simple. But who really was Jabari Baby Henley? That's the question people keep coming back to, because to understand why his death caused such a reaction, you first have to understand the man behind the headlines. Born on March 15, 1991 in Englewood, part of LA County, Jabari was never someone chasing fame the way his father Eugene "Big U" Henley did. He stayed quiet, minded his own business, but still kept a connection to the culture around him. He released a few songs under the name Baby We, including a 2019 track called Hood featuring Hood Rich Pablo Juan, with Kenny Beats handling production, and the song pulled close to 150,000 streams on Spotify. His music reflected real-life struggles, surviving tough environments, and staying loyal to family. Hearing those lyrics now hits much harder knowing how his life ended. Still, music was never the center of Jabari's world. Friends close to him said he worked as a warehouse supervisor at a logistics company in Compton, focused on raising his 10-year-old daughter and making it known he wasn't trying to live a street lifestyle. People around him said he stayed out the mix. In the neighborhood, that means keeping your head low and avoiding the problems that can come with a well-known family name. And that part matters because Jabari represented something many young men in South LA are trying to achieve, staying connected to their roots while building a different future away from gang politics and street conflicts. People who knew him personally often spoke with respect about his personality and the way he carried himself.
I mean, it is what it is as far as this is how the streets go, but Baby Huey, I ain't gonna hold you. Solid dude. Like, as young as he was, if you actually met him, he actually seemed way older. Kid was solid, like straight, solid dude. Now some of y'all be, well, he was in the streets. He didn't operate like that. He wasn't operating out here like no goofy. Let me just flat out put that out there.
Jabari left behind 3 siblings, and each of them was building a life in their own way. His brother Diane Henley, 28, who plays as a starting linebacker for the LA Chargers, shared a post on Instagram on November 1st that said, "My heart is broken. Rest easy, bro. We holding the family down." Another brother, Michael Henley, 32, was working as a barber in Hawthorne, while his sister, Shirish Henley, 30, was employed as a nurse in Long Beach. Every member of the family was focused on their own path, trying to create something better for themselves. But what makes this situation even more painful is where Jabari's father was when he received the news. Eugene "Big U" Henley, 58 years old, learned that his son had been killed while he was being held at the Metropolitan Detention Center in downtown LA. He has remained there without bail since March 2025 after federal prosecutors charged him with 43 counts under RICO. The indictment was serious. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the Central District of California accused Big U of leading a mafia-style organization tied to the Roland 60s Crips, with allegations involving extortion, human trafficking, bank fraud, and even claims that he ordered a hit on a rapper in Vegas. The way Big U found out about his son's death also showed just how harsh the prison system can be. At around 1:30 a.m. on November 1st, his co-defendant, Luce Cannon, another music executive tied to the same RICO case, received the information through a contraband cell phone from someone outside the jail. During Lights Out, he quietly passed the news to Big U in a whispered conversation. Cannon later spoke with TMZ and Hot New Hip Hop, explaining how Big U reacted after hearing the devastating news. Cannon said Big U completely shut down. At first, he barely spoke, tears running down his face, hands balled into fists. Then he quietly said, "Not my boy, not like this," painting the painful grief of a father who wasn't even able to be there beside his son during his final moments. "We're both broken, man. Heartbroken and devastated, still don't fully explain it. We're going to get through this together, even from behind these walls. God doesn't make mistakes. This is a test for us, but we'll make it through," Cannon added, trying to make sense of a tragedy that felt impossible to understand. As of November 2nd, 2025, the case is still open and no arrests have been made. LAPD's South Bureau Homicide Division has been aggressively investigating the case, collecting 12 separate surveillance videos from nearby businesses in the area. On November 1st, they announced a $50,000 reward through the LAPD's citywide crime reward program, hoping someone would finally step forward with information that could help solve the murder. But what unfolded online in the hours and days after Jabari's death? That's when this story shifted into something much darker, exposing just how poisonous the internet can become when grief, conspiracy theories, and old beefs all crash together at the worst possible moment. The internet completely lost control over it. Less than 2 hours after the first police scanner reports began surfacing online at 11:45 p.m. on October 31st, things exploded across nearly every social media platform imaginable. News of Jabari Henley being shot and killed didn't just spread through the neighborhood or even across LA. spread worldwide, bringing with it waves of comments, conspiracy theories, and outright disrespect that showed the ugliest side of internet culture and proved the hip-hop community still hasn't recovered from losing Nipsey Hussle. What took over the conversation wasn't sympathy or demands for justice. No, what unfolded was something far more disturbing. A massive wave of people started talking about karma, divine payback, and even celebrating the death of a young father because of rumors tied to his dad. Just 90 minutes after the first scanner alerts came out, the story spread everywhere online and quickly became connected to those 6-year-old conspiracy theories claiming Big U was somehow involved in Nipsey Hussle getting killed on March 31, 2019 on X. That's what we call Twitter now. Mentions of Big U's son climbed from 2,500 posts at midnight to 15,000 by 6 a.m. on November 1st, while hashtags like Big Henley and Baby Y were trending all over LA. The speed of it all was unbelievable, showing how social media now turns tragedy into instant content, rumors into accepted truth, and private grief into public entertainment. TikTok quickly filled with videos, including graphic clips showing paramedics performing CPR on Jabari, uploaded by anonymous accounts and pulling in 3.2 million views by noon on November 1st. Instagram Reels from Nipsey Hussle fan pages began reposting footage, blending mourning for Nipsey with sharp accusations aimed at Big U, and the entire situation reached 25 million impressions worldwide. The algorithm kept pushing it harder, serving it up everywhere. People were already holding onto a story that had been building in the culture for years, just waiting for the right moment to explode again. The disrespect, often described as karma finally catching up or Nip's spirit getting payback from beyond the grave, came from those old accusations that have followed Big U since 2019. The rumors claimed that Big U allegedly supported Eric Holder Jr., the Rollin' 60s member who was convicted in 2022 for killing Nipsey, or that Big U somehow benefited from Nipsey's death through his music label connections. But during Holder's trial, those claims were already shown to be false because Big U's name never appeared anywhere in the transcripts. Till everybody knows how the internet and the streets work, truth usually moves slower than gossip. And once old videos started making the rounds again, those theories suddenly came back stronger than before. A 2021 interview with Charleston White resurfaced on November 1st, and the post quickly pulled in 11,000 likes along with nearly 500 reposts. In that interview, Charleston threw out some serious accusations about what he believed really happened in Nipsey's death, and how Big U was supposedly tied into it all.
Homie, they killed Nip too. Let's not forget, homie, they killed Nipsey Hussle. Eric Holder was not a lone actor in that. If you go back and follow the details, Nip and Big U got into it. Big U hit Nip daddy across the head with a bat. His brother had to come out and shoot the gun. Hey, y'all get off. Say, Nip, come on, we finna come beat you. Because I don't want to pay that $20,000.
Loose Cannon's podcast rant from 2025, recorded before he ended up caught up in his case, was later reposted and quickly pulled in around 6,000 likes, where he claimed that Big U pushed NIP into a questionable deal and then allowed the situation to spiral like a snake moving in circles. Many people who were paying attention didn't miss the irony in Cannon's words, especially since this was the same man who later had to inform Big U about the tragic murder of his son while speaking on it. Later on, it was Brick Baby who directly pointed out how unrealistic and overblown Cannon's entire version of events sounded when he eventually addressed it during an interview.
All this is nonsense. Me and Big U even had a conversation about it. Yeah. And I said, man, I'm sorry you're getting dragged into this fake storyline. Not that I have anything to do with it, because I've never interviewed Loose Cannon or anything else like that. But I just as someone I'm cool with, I said, I'm sorry that this is the story that's going out and people are running with it, because I remember every conversation I've ever had with Big U, he's always spoken positively about Nipsey. Yeah. Every time. Our interview, nothing negative about Nipsey. Yeah. Personal conversations, nothing negative about Nipsey, ever. Yeah.
Whack 100's March 2025 Instagram Live broke down a claimed physical fight between Big U and Nippy from back in 2017, which was also said to have resulted in Black Sam's arrest, and it sparked a viral thread reaching 50,000 engagements. These were not fresh revelations. We're looking at old information being resurfaced, with past accusations getting new attention as the algorithm thrives on conflict and controversy. A closer look at early social media activity in the first hours after the shooting shows how quickly grief and speculation can turn into something toxic. 12:07 a.m. on November 1st, someone shared a crime scene video captioned, "Retaliation for Big U's alleged Nippy setup," adding, "Street war never ends." That post received 19 likes and 5 reposts. By 1:46 a.m., another user shared a more reflective comment on the CPR video, writing, "Comments filled with Nippy spirit and sins of the father." "We've lost compassion, death as entertainment" widely across platforms that night in circulation. By 6:47 a.m., the situation had become even more disrespectful, with a post that received 95 likes earlier now escalating the tone further. One user wrote, "La let Big U walk after killing your legend, Nippy Trash City," and that message alone gained 2,400 likes. Later, at 12:57 p.m., another user shared a YouTube link titled "Proof Big U Killed Nippy and Son's Best Friend," which managed to collect 417 views within just a few hours. When you look closely at the numbers, the scale of this online mob becomes very clear. Out of 8,000 posts analyzed from November 1st to 2, about 62% referenced Nippy using hashtags such as Dustin's Nippy Karma, which appeared around 4,000 times, while only 28% offered neutral condolences. Just 10% spoke out against the mockery. Eventually, the platforms had to intervene to limit the most offensive content. Suspended 15 accounts for doxing on November 1st. TikTok demonetized 200 videos due to graphic content. Instagram also flagged 50 reels under its hate speech policies. But what this entire digital chaos really shows is how, as a culture, we have lost direction when it comes to grief, justice, and the idea of karma. The story being pushed had absolutely no evidence linking Jabari's death to anything that occurred in 2019. It was. This reaction was deeply emotional, shaped by a community still carrying unhealed trauma after the loss of Nipsey Hussle. Some people, still grieving over Nipsey being taken away, began to view Big U as the main villain, and in their minds, Jabari's tragic murder turned into a kind of cosmic revenge from the universe. But not everyone shared that mindset. Those connected to Nipsey's estate tried to step back from the negativity, with Black Sam posting on the Moreau Records Instagram on November 1st saying, "Pain multiplies pain. Honor NIP with peace, not this." At the same time, voices within the hip-hop community pushed back, pointing out what they saw as a troubling lack of humanity and basic respect. People who personally knew Big U also came forward to defend him, calling the accusations baseless and saying they were being used against a grieving father who was already behind bars.
I feel like they had whatever differences they had when Nip was alive and they got over that shit. I've been around for a minute, so I don't feel like that even carried on to, you know what I mean? Like, that's a crazy, just imagine you raising this young dude, y'all fall out about some business stuff.
The truth many people tend to overlook is this. Eric Holder Jr., the man who was convicted of the murder of Nipsey Hussle, was sentenced to 60 years to life in 2022. Throughout the entire trial, Big U's name never appeared at any stage. It was not found in call logs, it was not mentioned in witness testimony, and it does not show up in any official court transcripts. As one commentator has pointed out while addressing these conspiracy theories, if there had been any real evidence of a murder-for-hire plot involving Big U, the prosecutors would have clearly presented the evidence in court during Holder's trial.
And the person who killed Nipsey Hussle has been convicted of the murder. Big U's name never came up in the trial.
Not a call log, not a
nothing. Not a nothing. You would think that in a case this serious, where you're facing life in prison, if it really was a murder for hire, like people are trying to say it is, which is nonsense, that person would probably come forward to try to get their time.
The digital storm online also led to real consequences on the streets. According to LAPD reports, there was a 22% rise in anonymous tips sent to Crime Stoppers, including 150 calls between November Burnside 2 with mentions of old beefs. This backlash revealed a harsh cycle taking shape. The grief over Nippy was being used in ways that connected it to a completely unrelated tragedy, creating even more division in a community still trying to recover from 2019. As the investigation into Jabari's murder continued to move forward, this online storyline risked taking attention away from the main goal, which was justice for a young father whose life was cut short in the very streets he was trying to stay away from. To understand the full tragedy of Jabari Henley's killing and the strong reaction it sparked online, we need to go back and look at the real history between Nipsey Hussle and Big U. Their relationship has been shaped by rumors, online guessing, and social media turning complex human ties into simple good versus bad stories. In reality, the truth is far more complicated than what social media threads and TikTok videos suggest. The history between Hermas, Nipsey Hussle, Askadem, and Eugene Big U Henley began in the mid-2000s, when Big U had just been released on parole after the California Department of Corrections freed him in 2004. After that, he started organizing peace talks between Crips and Bloods through the Community Intervention Alliance, the CIA he founded in 2005. Nipsey Hussle, about 20 years old at the time and emerging as a Rollin' 60s affiliate, would regularly attend these informal Crenshaw meetings. Big U saw him as what he described as a next-generation leader, someone able to connect the older generation with the younger guys coming up. In February 2009, Nipsey Hussle signed a 10-year management agreement with Big U's Onique music label, with terms including a 10% management fee and a 25% publishing share, which was considered standard at the time, though it later faced criticism in 2023 when fans launched a petition calling it predatory. After that, they entered a period where they stayed closely aligned, working in ways that supported both their careers and the community. In 2010, they co-hosted an event called Unity in the community at Limer Park, which drew around 800 people, where Big U helped mediate truces between the Rollin' 60s and the Hoovers while Nipsey Hussle performed. In 2012, they each contributed $5,000 to CIA youth programs, and Nipsey Hussle told XXL magazine, "Your bridges set saved lives on my block," while Big U said, he made the music that backed the message. Their partnership peaked between 2016 and 2018. The Block by Block series they created hosted panels on gentrification and drew a total of 4,000 people. Big U also provided A&R input on Nipsey Hussle's Grammy-nominated album Victory Lap, including helping connect Kendrick Lamar for features. Nipsey Hussle also showed appreciation by donating $100,000 to CIA. In 2018, things seemed to show that everyone involved was on the same page when it came to uplifting the community together. But as Nippy's popularity grew and his business empire expanded, small tensions began to build quietly underneath. By late 2018, rumors of conflict started to spread when Nippy wanted to exit his Onique deal early, saying it was about creative control, and he launched Marathon Clothing independently in August 2018. Big U still showed up at the store opening, but later he posted a cryptic message on X saying, "Loyalty tests all." After that, photos also surfaced of Eric Holder at that same event alongside Big U, images that would later take on a very different meaning after Nip was killed. When Nip was murdered on March 31, 2019, Big U's response came immediately and was very visible. He organized an April 2nd Unity March that brought in 5,000 people, even with rival gangs calling a truce. And he also delivered a eulogy at the memorial service where he said, "He was my son in spirit." Big U's CIA handled all the logistics for the memorial, and the joint fundraisers they ran together raised $200,000. People who witnessed Big U's grief saw how he turned community pain into positive action. Till, the later accusations against him felt not only unfounded but also harsh. Even so, the rumors continued to spread and grow. In July 2020, a viral X thread accused Big U of vouching for Holder gaining 50,000 engagements. Big U addressed the claims directly on Vlad TV in August 2020, clearly stating, "I built peace with NIP, didn't break it." But in the social media era, where controversy spreads faster than truth, denials rarely travel as far as accusations. What stands out most about Big U's effort to clear his name is how he described losing everything in the aftermath of these rumors. And when he spoke about it, the pain in his voice was clear.
When Nipsey died, right? When Nipsey got killed, we probably had about 375, 400 kids that was in our program. And I had the travel basketball team. We had a contract with Adidas that was worth about $3 million that Kanye West gave us.
Wow.
And then I had like a bunch of other different contracts. And for a nonprofit, we were really thriving. Then Nipsey gets killed. Well, after Nipsey get killed, then the rumor goes out, Big U had something to do with it. We lost everything.
You lost all those?
Everyone, I tell you everything.
Wow.
Kanye stopped answering the phone. Adidas stopped answering the phone. And I ended up almost going dead broke because we already committed to these.
The impact went far beyond the bag being cut off. It marked years of peace-building efforts, community programs, and everything Big U had worked to establish after getting out of prison being questioned, undermined, and torn down. By 2023, X sentiment analysis showed that positive mentions connecting Nippy and Big U had fallen sharply from 80% in 2018 to just 35% in 2023, driven by more than 5,000 posts circulating rumors. His reputation suffered heavily, even though there was no evidence supporting the claims. Then in March 2025, Big U's situation became much more serious. He was arrested and faced 43 federal RICO charges, with accusations that he ran a mafia-style operation linked to the Rollin' 60s Crips, including alleged extortion of businesses, human trafficking through his music label Onique Music, bank fraud involving $1.2 million in COVID-19 relief loans, and organizing the 2021 killing of an aspiring rapper in Las Vegas over a diss track. Big U pleaded not guilty and is now representing himself after his attorney stepped down in September 2025, with the trial set for May 2026. Against this backdrop, a father held in federal custody faces the possibility of life in prison. While his name has already been heavily damaged online over a murder he has consistently denied involvement in, specifically the killing of Jabari Henley, the timing and severity of it all have added to the sense of harshness surrounding his case. Now had to grieve the loss of his son from behind bars while the internet celebrated what many believed was karma coming full circle. The investigation into Jabari's murder remains ongoing. As of November 2, 2025, LAPD has reviewed 12 surveillance videos and is currently awaiting full ballistics and toxicology results, expected on November 5. 2 persons of interest from Englewood, with no direct Roland 60S connections, were taken into custody on November 1 and later released after their alibis were verified. Forensic DNA recovered from the sedan's door handle shows a partial match to a Hoover affiliate, pointing to what internal LAPD memos describe as spillover retaliation, rather than the type of retaliation being discussed across social media. What this entire tragedy ultimately highlights is how the internet has fundamentally reshaped our relationship with grief, justice, and truth in today's culture. The Henley family, already dealing with Big U's incarceration and the RICO fallout that included the freezing of their Hyde Park home assets, is now arranging the funeral privately, with a memorial tentatively set for November 8. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, click one of the boxes on your screen to watch more related content.